Hello, and welcome to Entrepreneur Series with me, Elizabeth Gitau. If you're new to this page, please go ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think. And good people, as promised, today we are starting our first episode of Guest Entrepreneur Series. And today I'm presenting to you Duncan Nyoro, an entrepreneur, a passionate individual for entrepreneurship. Let us hear Dan's story. Karibu sana Dan.
Thank you very much. I must say I'm really excited to be in this platform. I have been following. So today I'm very excited and I want to give my story. My name is Duncan Nyoro from Kiambu County, Lari Sub-County, Nyandoma Ward, a village called Kagwe. That is where I was born. That is where I went to my primary school, my secondary school. So it's a place that I love so much. So Dan is one I am an entrepreneur. I like entrepreneurship. I also like dealing with the youth. I'm an advocate of youth empowerment, and I'm also I'm an accountant by profession. That is what I did in college, and I'm more focused on tax matters. That is what I do like doing. Okay. So that is Dan in a nutshell.
Nice. Thank you so much, Dan, for doing us the honors of being our guest. We would like to know, how did Dan become an entrepreneur? Were you raised in a family of entrepreneurs, or how exactly did you get the idea of becoming an entrepreneur?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question, by the way. I like it. So my entrepreneurship journey started back in high school. That is where I started being an entrepreneur. I could borrow my brother's motorcycle, go to my town center, go and transport some luggages and some people there. I used to do that more often when we used to close school. Okay. So I could go get the motorcycle, go get some few coins in there and try to do some 1 or 2, 3 business there. So I can say my journey started well back in high school. Okay. But of course now entrepreneurship is an art. I've come learning up to now.
Great. And at what point, I know there is a venture that I'm really interested to hear about. Yes. How did you start now entrepreneurship as now I am doing this?
Yes, maybe to be more precise on where I started the serious entrepreneurship. It's after college. When I secured my first job, even before I go to that, I'm one person who doesn't like to rely on one source of income. So even before I got the job, I knew that I wouldn't want to just focus with one source of income. So I secured my job after college. I was free to get a job after college. And within my first year, that's when I started doing my journey in serious entrepreneurship, because I was having some good money there. So my first venture, I did dairy farming. I am so much into agribusiness. So I started doing agribusiness at home, that being the first venture in agribusiness.
And how was it? How was the venture? How did you fund? You know, everyone is like, how do I fund this? How do I do this? And did it give you a return for your money?
Yes, my dairy farming experience is a nice one, because one, being an entrepreneur that I am a risk taker. Okay. I'm not a business person. I tend to think there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business person. So I think I'm an entrepreneur because I took a risk, a huge risk. Being there, sometimes I was being told by my friends that I'm ambitious. But let me give you the story. So dairy farming, you know, I have been brought up by a farmer. I'm a son of a farmer. Okay. So we used to have cows. In our village, it's a culture for every homestead to have a cow. Okay. So I have been brought up in a home where you have a cow. So I had a mind whereby I wanted to make it not a hobby, but a venture that could bring return. So I approached my dad, who is a retiree, so he's just there at home. So I approached him and I told him about the idea of agribusiness and dairy farming. So let me say it was a good experience, having the fact that already I was having my dad there at home, who was a retiree. one of the things that we discussed with him is that he needed to have something to do in the village, because after a job you have a lot of time, and so I was really motivated to do that business, because you see, having my dad there, and he has a lot of experience in that, it really motivated me to have that venture. So we planned with him from point A to point Z on how to do everything. We built with him the zero grazing units. We purchased with him the cows there and everything. So about funding. So obviously in my first day of employment, I didn't have a lot of money that I saved. So I knew the most preferable way was to get a credit. So my dad secured me a loan. That is a very good person, and I like him so much. So he secured a loan for me. He was my guarantor. In my village, you have a circle where he banks. So we went with him, give the proposal to the manager, and he secured a loan for me to get in that venture.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. It's good to have a very supportive system when you're starting business. I can say that.
Yes. Yes. So you see, having my dad close to me in that venture, it really made it easy for us to start and kick on. And in that venture, it was really exciting, especially for the first 1 year.
Wow.
It was really exciting. We used to get good proceeds. But at some point, during the second year, we started having some problems.
Okay.
And that is when now we were in a position that we were struggling. Let me tell you what happened. So I told you I was in employment, so I was able to, at least whenever we could have some low returns on the farm, I could chip in, and I support the business. So now during the second year, where I was working, there was some challenges in the company, and there was some retrenchment that were being done. So unfortunately, I was one of the people who were actually retrenched. So that is where we started now having some problems. And of course, it's about finances, because we are not able to actually agribusiness on dairy farm. It's about input output. It's about how much money do you input for you to get the output, because you need to feed the cows, you need to buy for them everything that they require, so that they're able to produce good returns. So we started now having those challenging finances. I'm now not able to support the business, and dairy farming, it's one of the challenges that I really experienced is that it's capital intensive. We require a lot of money when doing that venture, because as I've said, it's an input output, so there's no input. So you see, without the input, the output will obviously go down. So second year we experienced those challenges on finances. I was not able to support the business. As you have heard, my dad is a retiree, so he doesn't have disposable income for him to support the business. So the journey was so interesting. You see, at the point where you realize that we are facing challenges, my dad was telling me, now I think, Dan, we need to offset some of these, because we had invested largely. We had 10 dairy cows. Wow. Dairy cows. And I'm from... And
I've seen the photos. They're very big and fat.
Yes. I come from a place whereby dairy farming is one of the economic activities. So the cows, they are hybrid. So we had really invested with good cows. So now see, we are shown whereby not able to give the input. I'm telling you, we are not now able to buy the dairy feeds, which are very expensive. The inputs for dairy farming are very expensive. So the second year where we could not now get the money to do that, of course now the returns went down. So at that point, my dad raised the lead flag. He told me, Dan, we need to dispose some of these cattle that we're able to now remain the one that are able to sustain. So I think.
And at this point, you're also servicing the loan.
Yes.
So the financial toll on you was actually very high.
Very high. Very high indeed. So you see, at this point, I think and I think that is, and some people have told me this, I'm overambitious, and at some point I came to realize, yes, I'm overambitious. You know, I could tell my dad, no, wait, dad, not dispose the kettles right now. Maybe 2-3 months we are going to at least get something, we keep going. So my dad would listen to my advice, and you know, we took some time, but another day it was not sustainable. Okay. It reached a point whereby even the fodder, you know, the napier grass, could not even get the cows feed well enough. So at some point we reached a consensus with my dad, who was my partner in the business. Okay. And honestly speaking, we reached a point whereby we had to close the project. Okay. But even before we closed, I think we were quite unfortunate. You know, I think people normally say when it rains it pours. So at some point, can you imagine, before even started now selling out the cows, 3 of them died. No. Can you imagine? And they were, you know, I've told you I come from a dairy farming area. So we buy serious cows. Serious cows. You can imagine. There's one cow that died. We bought it at 120,000.
Wow, that's a huge investment.
Can you imagine one cow?
And now you can imagine the investment you have done on the cow and you're still keeping it. So that's a huge one.
Yeah, we lost.
So how did you take that? Because that is part of entrepreneurship. You're going to get setbacks. How did you take that? How did it impact on you as an entrepreneur? Did it make you feel like this was wrong or I shouldn't go into this? How was it for you?
You know, Liz, having lost 3 cows, and cumulatively, the second cow was around 90,000, and the other one was around 85,000. Wow. So you can see the amount of money that we were losing then. So to me as an entrepreneur, it was, let me say it was a learning curve, because I had not seen that happen to anyone else. I was not benchmarking. But it reaches a point whereby, as an entrepreneur, I learned that it is good to take timely decisions. Because ideally, if I listened to my dad advice at the first instance, this could not happen. Because what was happening, when you call the veterinaries to come and check what was happening, they were telling us about the feeding. You know? Which
dad had already commented about it, that now you're not able to feed the cows, dispose them off.
Yes.
Timely decision is something that you would really
paramount. It is paramount. We lost 3 cows to non-timely decision making. Okay. And
this is something that probably entrepreneurs go through, because you're thinking, this is the time I need to invest on my business, but what everything is telling you is that it's time to close. So entrepreneurs have to realize when it's time.
Yes.
To close,
and that is
paramount. And it's okay to close.
It is okay to close, because if you don't, eventually you're going to lose everything. You know, you will solve with something if you make a timely decision. Okay. But if you don't, you lose everything.
So Dan, you have sold the cows, and now I know you have another business. Were you not afraid of starting another venture? How was it like? And at what point did you decide, tumeanguka, project imefunga, let's start another venture? At what point?
Thank you. You know, I convinced myself I'm an entrepreneur, and what entrepreneurs do is take risks. So even after we closed the business, because we closed, yeah. It was not viable. We needed to offset the other cows for us to pay the loan. We did that. Okay. So, however, moving on, I've told you about the ambitious part of me. Yeah. So I have never wanted to have one source of income. There are those things that we never planned for when starting. Okay. So now in my second venture, which is now in the clothes line, menswear. So there is the urge. I mean, I'm personally so much passionate about fashion.
You know? Yes.
So, because I work in these streets of Nairobi, I would say I was really motivated to see people who are smart, and I always told myself, what if someone would be dressed and I say, this is courtesy of Lorient collection? Okay. You see? So, the idea of my venture, which is my second venture on fashion, was really driven by basically my passion for fashion. You know,
Okay.
that is what will drive me to this business.
And were you not afraid of starting another venture? How did you overcome that fear of I invested a lot in this venture and it failed and I'm starting another one? How did you overcome that fear?
True. Honestly speaking, that was it is still some fear, but you know, I have this mentality that if you fall, you don't have to stay there and you know start baby crying that you know I'm already down. You need to pick yourself. You know, to be successful, you will have to fail a lot of times, by the way, and this is something that people need to be open about. You will have to fail 1 or 2 or 3 times before you succeed.
Even a child fails a number of times before they learn how to walk.
You know, so the fear basically on venturing to other ventures and doing something else is basically driven by, you know, the risk-taking part of me. I wouldn't want to say that. Of course, I'm not sensitive about investment, but what I do and what motivates me is the fact that I know you will have to at some point, you know, fall and you know
you have to rise. So falling is part of the journey.
It is part of the journey.
Great. So before we go into Lorient and how are you managing Lorient, tell us what are these 3 skills, top skills that you feel each and every entrepreneur has to have for them to be successful in business?
One of the things that is major for me is one, effective communication. Because many other times that people will not communicate effectively, and so many things will go wrong. I would want to imagine a situation whereby you open a business, but there's no communication. You know? No one knows it's supposed to be done at what time, and you're not communicating. You assume. So I believe strongly that you have to have effective communication.
Okay.
You know, because you will have employees, perhaps you have employed. You will have people doing work for you. You will have your customers. If you don't communicate to them effectively, if you, for instance, in my business, if I don't communicate to them a new fashion timely, then I will be losing on business.
Yeah, sure.
So it is one of the skills that I really put a priority on, that you must have effective communication.
Okay. Then
planning and organization. You know, it is not easy, by the way, to maneuver in this journey if you don't plan well. In fact, before execution, you should plan well. So I would encourage anyone who is interested in entrepreneurship, kindly, please, for your kindness, before you do anything, before you execute, have a good plan. Know A to Z. What are you supposed to do from point A to Z? You know, good planning. So that's something I would encourage people to at least have that in mind. And of course, maybe I would also request people to be kind. I don't know whether that's a skill, but it is actually very important. Yes. Be kind to anybody you meet. You know, in this journey, you don't know your customers, you don't know who perhaps will be opening the next doors for you. So be kind. But request anyone who is in this journey, please be kind.
Be kind.
And be also supportive. Realize that it is a synergy. In business, you will even need your competitors for you to succeed.
Yeah, sure.
You know? So you should be kind to everyone, to people you meet. And with those simple skills, I think we will be in the right direction.
Right. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now back to Lorient.
Yes.
Tell us, what is Lorient all about, and where is it located, and how can people reach you? Yes, tell us a bit about Lorient. And also, before even you tell us where we get you, how did you come up with Lorient Collections? You know, choosing a name is very important.
Yes.
We would like to know, where did Lorient come from?
Thank you. So, Lorient Collection Clothing Line, that is the name of the business registered. And how I came up with the name, it's very interesting. You know, I'm a football fan.
Your cows were Lacazette. Now I get you.
Messi,
yes,
CR7.
Good. Yes.
So I'm a football fan. I love football. I'm also a football player. Though I retired, I hung my boot. I think because of maybe, is it age?
No, we can't talk about age when it comes to you, Dad. Tell us something else. Yeah.
So, being a football fan, Lorient, there's a team in France called Lorient United. So, by the way, let me tell you, to be honest, Lorient came from a football club in France. And also,
awesome.
there's an island in France called Lorient. It's a very interesting place that I one day want to go there and have some good time.
And because we are talking of Lorient, fashion, beauty, looking good, that is the whole idea.
Yes.
We get you. So Dan, you are probably something that you have not told our audience. You are employed and you have a business. How do you manage that balance to make sure that you are working and you are being productive and your business is also sustainable?
Thank you very much. But that's a very important question.
Yeah.
Because yes, I'm employed. I have a full-time job, but I'm able to maneuver and do other things there outside. So I'll attribute that to two things. One, the systems. Everything has to have the system. How do you work? By systems I mean, in my business, do I have a human resource who is reliable? That's a system. Or if I don't have a reliable human resource, then that means I'll be interrupted. I'll have to one day wake up and fail to go to my job, my full-time job, and go to the shop.
Or the shop closes because you're working.
I lose some opportunity there. It's about system. One of the things I would maybe highlight on system is on human resource. Second thing will be perhaps the county government levies. So that your business is not interrupted. So have you paid your levies so that you're not interrupted?
Sure.
The other thing that I would say on the system, do you have a contract with your landlord so that you don't find yourself closing business?
Or being called off work to go and sort landlord issues,
Yes, so that's systems. You have to put systems. And every business has got its systems. Just like how in my former employer, there are systems. I don't have to report at 8:15 every morning, Monday to Friday. Those are systems. So I would really tell entrepreneurs kindly have systems for business. That's very important.
Very, very important. Okay.
Yes. Then the next thing would perhaps be processes. So what are your standard operating procedures? How do you guys operate? I have just mentioned I need to report to work at 8:15 every Monday to Friday. Leave at 5. So it's a process. So in my business, I must make sure that I have that process followed. What time do we open? What time do we close? At what time will I have to perhaps have my human resource go for leave or off? Am I planning for that? In my place of work, a process that perhaps I would mention. Do I have security in my place? The security is a process. Do I have to install the CCTVs for me to make sure that my premises is secure? It's a process. So two things I would advise people to have. I would want people to set up their system right, and have their process right. Because if you fail on those two things, then perhaps you'll be interrupted. So that's something that I have really majored on in my business, and I hope if my entrepreneurs would really follow that, it will be so helpful for them.
Okay.
Yes.
You talked about human resource, and I find that as very important because you are out working and someone has to handle your business. So what are some of the things that you use to hire your employees? Because I hear some people say, I employed someone, they stole from me, they're not reliable, they're not someone that I can count on. I've had people say I left an employee but they are very harsh to customers. How do you choose the right people to work with in your business?
That's a very good question. In fact, I read to that. During my first year now in Lorient collection, clothing line, I experienced that a lot, human resource. And by the way, my fellow entrepreneurs, I won't lie to you. If you go wrong in human resource, that's not where you're going. You will close down at the end of the day. So you can imagine a situation whereby you have the wrong human resource. So many bad things will happen. You lose a lot of money. So what I did in my business is I refer to it as professional hiring. You know, some people tend to think that you would want maybe perhaps to help your friends,
your family.
You are doing a business and you feel that you want to help. You know, come call your friend who doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
You know, come work for me. Or perhaps you have a relative, maybe from the village, so you want them to come to the village and come to town and do business. That is wrong.
Very wrong, yeah.
Very wrong. So what I did is professional hiring. I advertised.
Okay.
You know,
yes.
I need a shop attendant, and for my case, I wanted a female because I thought my business would go well with a female shop attendant.
You go back to planning. What do I want?
Yes.
Okay.
True. That is planning. So I advertised. And I gave my requirements, and there was the hiring process. There were interviews done.
Wow.
You know, I had to make sure that I don't go wrong with human resource. Having struggled with it for quite some time in the business, I settled on professional hiring. You know, we need to put the terms right. You know, everyone needs to know what is good of them.
Yeah.
Me as the employer, I'm obligated to fulfill my responsibilities as well as the employees. So we did that professional hiring. We got of course the right candidate. We put everything on pen and paper. You know, it is so frustrating when you wake up one day and you hear your employee calling you and telling you, I'm not able to go to work. I said, I have got another job, so I'll be leaving today. I'm not even reporting.
Yeah.
So I would encourage people to have contracts which are binding.
You know,
so that you're able to mitigate some of these risks with human resource. Have everything written in pen on paper. You know, if it is matter of living, you know, it is okay. You can get a greener pasture. Everyone want a greener pasture. So, but what does the contract say?
Wow.
You know, you need to protect your interest as the employer as well as the employee needs to protect their interest. That's why you have a contract.
Yeah,
binding.
contract, yes.
So I would urge everyone who is interested in entrepreneurship. Never go wrong with human resource. It will cost you your energy, your money, and you know, at the end of the day, you'll be losing out of opportunities.
Yes, thank you so much. Those are very valid points, and I really like what you're saying about going wrong with human resource. You go wrong in your business. I'm reading a book called Good to Great, and they're saying first who, then what. So the who is very important. Who is doing your business for you? So thank you so much for sharing those very, very powerful points. And finally, for you to come here and say that I'm employed and I'm in entrepreneurship, that means you have a very good employer. What would you say to those people who are wondering, am I really ready to go to entrepreneurship? Maybe my employer would not be supportive. Talk to the employee and the employer. Is it good to have employees who are also entrepreneurs? Or once you hear that your employee has a job or has a side, job, you fire them? What would you tell employers and employees at the same time?
Okay, let me start with the employers. So, to employers, one that is for sure, work gets done because of systems and how you do it with people. I believe when you are a manager, you don't have to micromanage your staff, your employees, to get work done. Rather, do you have the systems? Are systems working? Do the employees really know what is expected of them? Because if I know what is supposed to, I have my JD, and I know that I have
JD is job description.
Yes, job description.
Thank you.
So when I have that and I know exactly what is expected of me, and I have certain these timelines I have to give, whatever it is, I have to do my work by this time. I would encourage any manager who's listening to us, please don't micromanage your employees. Let them work freely. Just give them their work. Let them know what is expected of them. It'll be funny for an employer maybe to even deny the employees some, even during their working time. Perhaps you can get someone calling you in town. A visitor maybe has come, but you can't even get 30 minutes to go and see that person. Or even your parent has come to town, you want to see them for maybe 1 hour, but they don't give you that time. It is not good. Let people work freely. Create an environment whereby even the employees themselves are happy.
They're happy.
Don't micromanage. Let them I'm not saying that the employees then should take advantage of that. That there's
that's
no
why you're also going to
management.
talk to employees.
Yes. So, but for an employer who is outside there, please don't micromanage people. Let people work freely. Look, just for the JD, you have what is expected of me. So I'm doing that. These other things, personal life, leave it. Let them have some space. But bottom line, the work must be done. Because that is what I'm trying to do. There's no, you cannot negotiate about that. You must work. So that is what I would say about the employers. The employees, it is very important to note that when you're working and you have some other side hustles, it is a risky event. Because you see, you are actually, it's a gamble. You have a full-time job, then you have your side hustle. So what I will say, for an employee who is thinking about being an entrepreneur and having to do some other things outside there, it is very much right. What is required of you? It is you have to control yourself. You have to draw some line. You must demarcate between your employer work, and your work. Those are two different things. And you should. There's a thick line there. You should not touch any other, because when you do that, then you are trading on a very risky
ground.
Because you may lose both. I'm very sure most of us, you lose your employment to support your business. Without the employment, perhaps it would be difficult for you to
sustain the business.
So it is a synergy. So just draw the line. Draw the line. No, this is I'm supposed to work in this organization from Monday to Friday or whichever time. Then I'm supposed to leave at 5 or whichever time. Then it is the time you create for your business. And that still goes to the system that you put, the human resource, the processes there. So never, as an employee, don't take your employer's time to do your personal business. It's so risky.
It is so risky.
You may do it at some point, but you'll be caught. Because you'll not be able to give deliver. And your employer will know. At some point, my boss realized that I was not actually so productive. When you're working, when you're a hardworking employee, and you start now, your productivity goes down. These people will still know. My employer knew. And I was actually someone, we are working from home then. So I used to, say I want to go to the shop and do my business. I have all the time now in my business. So my employer realized that this guy is not working. Rather,
the productivity has gone down.
It has gone down. So I was someone back to the office. So what I will tell the employees, please, draw the line. Have time for everything. Do your work in your employment. Do your work in your business. Yes.
So Dan,
yes.
You started venturing into business when you were very young. What advice would you give to college graduates who are still waiting to get employed and they have gotten their first job, they're having this income and they will just party? What would you tell them? What advice would you give to them? Because you started business very early. What advice would you give to college, graduates and young people who probably see entrepreneurs as this thing for retirees or people who have really made it in life?
Yes, and I'll advise on two areas.
Yeah.
Those people who are still in college and those people who have graduated.
Okay.
So quickly to those people who are in school. I know this might sound crazy, but it is very important. It is important for everyone who is there to understand that our system is, of course, school-based. You must be in this system. You must have these papers for you to get something here outside. That's the fact. It is painful, but it is the fact. You have to have these papers, so you must be in school. So I would advise people who are in college, please, let this not sound crazy to you, but would you focus more on being innovative? Try to do something when still in college. I know I was there, and you find yourself with some few thousands. You have saved, you have told your parents, you are printing, you what,
and you have an extra few shillings. Yes, I know.
you have something. I would tell people who are in college, please, have those entrepreneurs' mind. Think about tomorrow. College life is so sweet, so good, because you have to party, you don't have any responsibility, you don't have anything. But with the little saving that you have, if you have like 5,000, please think about what you can do. This world outside here, out of these graduates you see, maybe perhaps 20% are the one who are lucky to get this blue collar job.
Sure.
So I don't want people to be frustrated when they come out of school. Please, with your few thousands, try to do something. Try to do some, you can even hawk. I have hawked when I was in college.
Wow.
So it's something that is viable. You can sell some commodities, Just be creative and innovative. Just don't wait for you to, don't be imaginary and think that after college, after university, I'll have this degree and I'll go to a blue collar job. It is not possible. It is not the case. So please, when in college, do something. Be innovative. Exercise entrepreneurship from that level. Yes, I would advise people when go that way. So those people who are graduates and perhaps have secured a good, maybe paying job, or rather a job. So it is very important, when you got a job from college, maybe the first, second, or even the 3 years just after college, the most exciting moments, because you have a pay slip. Even if I spend this money, after some few days I'll get back.
And you also don't have responsibilities. Probably don't have a family.
Yes. So you get in a comfort zone, and you start now living, you want everyone to notice that, I got employment, so wewe kazi yako ni kupiga tu luku.
And sometimes you do it subconsciously because that is what is expected of you. You have a job, you have to look good. Yeah.
So you're in a one bedroom along Thika Road, So you're living well, you have a how many inches TV, but I would want to say this. Once you get a job, it is of course they see it that you want to return thanks to your body. So in Greek, that is what it means.
Yes.
So it is important. However, I would want you to see that in be long term, because those short term things about go vibing every other place, it is not important. Well, it is part of life, but it's not important. I would advise someone who has a job that, let me remind them, by the way, you're only one paycheck from poverty. If you don't get that paycheck the following month,
are you going to survive?
What will
For
happen?
how long are you going to survive?
So I would want someone to think, by the way, if I don't get this pay this month, what will happen? By the way, you go direct to the village, or start now calling your friends and asking them to give you money because you don't have that. So plan. You need to plan for your future. And I would advise the entrepreneurs here, never be comfortable with the one source of income, especially in employment. And this has come very well during this COVID times.
Yeah.
Millions have lost their jobs. So don't be dependent on one income. Don't be comfortable. Please venture. Try to know whatever it is that you need to do. There's so many things outside here, but I would advise someone who has a paycheck. You will need, first of all, to be saving. If you don't save, you need to be saving, because of course, you need to have capital.
Yeah, sure.
I would encourage them to have a savings model. Every month be sure that you are making some good saving in a circle. A good circle will not swallow your money. Have savings. Then think about investment. Invest. Do you know the reason why? Yeah. As I complete, at this age, there are some age that you're able to recover from some things. Can you imagine having gotten lost from my investment in dairy farming, business? Assuming I was 50, and I was actually using
your pension fund.
My pension fund.
Yes,
to do that.
yes.
So to these young people,
this is the best time to take risks.
Imagine the risks that are even big risks. Be able to recover. I was able to recover from my investment, which I lost close to 1 million in dairy farming, and still recover from that, pay those loans, and now venture another thing.
Yes.
So it is the right time to invest. Don't fear about the risk of I lose money. It is the time you're able to recover from that.
Yeah, you have all the time.
You have all the time. You have the energy. You're able to run down. Up and down.
And you can't wait until you get dependents for you to take risk. There is a time that comes you can't imagine risking.
You can't.
Yes,
so
yes.
I would advise people, please plan your future. Invest. Even employment. Don't be happy about that one paycheck. I'm telling you for a fact, you're only one paycheck from poverty. Yes.
Wow. And Entrepreneur Series is all about inspiring other entrepreneurs, one story at a time. So we are really grateful for sharing your story on this channel. We would like to know, if someone wanted to deal with Lorient collections, where would we find you? Do you have a number that people can call? And yeah, tell us, where is Lorient? How can we reach you? Do you have a Facebook page? Now you can share it with our audience.
So Lorient Collection Clothing Line, we are located in Thika Town. We have a shop, Thika Town, near KRA offices. Someone who is familiar with Thika will know where we have KRA offices. However, we have our social media pages. We have Facebook page. I would want people to follow and like our Facebook page, Lorient Collection Clothing Line on Facebook. So from that you'll be able to see our merchandise. Nowadays about online marketing.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can visit our Facebook page. You check on what we are selling. You can also reach us for further discussion, even direction and everything.
Even deliveries.
By the way, we do deliveries.
Okay.
Along Thika Road in Nairobi town is free of charge. So we do business online. We deliver to your doorstep. So we are flexible to that extent. And I would want.
Do you have a number that we can reach you on, or do we get it from your social media pages?
Okay. Well, I will give my number, though they still find it on the social media pages. So the number to reach us is 0716 682 551. So you can call, you can message, you can WhatsApp, whichever it is, you can reach us, and we'll be so glad to serve you. Visit our shop at Thika Town near KRA. You can reach us to the contact I have given, and we'll be so much glad to have that, to serve you and make people feel it feels good to look good.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So you want people to look good and they feel good. That is what Lorient does.
That is all about Lorient.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dan. We are very happy to have you here.
Yes.
And Dan is very resourceful when it comes to matters accounting, taxation, investment. So you will be seeing more of Dan in our channel. And thank you so much for doing us the honor to be here and to also share your story with us. So guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much. This is Entrepreneur Series with Elizabeth Gitao, where we dream it, believe it, work it, and enjoy it. Bye.